Hi there and welcome to the Dawn Show. Dawn Stens-Lamenti here. Are you ready for some comfort food? When am I not ready for comfort food? Today it's all about the Victoria Freehouse. We're going to be sharing some of their best recipes and what's new at the Freehouse with the owner and chef, Edward Strojan. Chef Ed, as we like to call you. How you doing?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here, absolutely. Before we get cooking, it smells so good here in our studio. But tell me, you're obviously not an Englishman. You're a local guy who's done well for yourself and you stayed in the community. We love that. So how did you get your start?
So basically my stepdad is British, so him and my mom opened a specialty British store in Haddonfield, the English Gardener gift shop on Kings Highway. So that was about 5 years ago. And 4 years ago, we opened the British Chip Shop, also in Haddonfield. And just this past March, we opened our pub in Old City.
Which is so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you've got English in the family.
Yes, exactly.
And we'll talk a little bit more about a really neat Scottish event. And I love that you do all the aisles. So you do Irish and Welsh and Scottish. So you're very inclusive with regard to that.
Absolutely. It's all good.
It's all good. Speaking of which, let's get cooking, Ed.
Sure. So today we're going to make shepherd's pie, which is a traditional British comfort food dish. Right. So we're going to start with the lamb here. So we have ground lamb and a hot pan. Okay. And just put some oil.
Hot pan is always good.
Absolutely.
Now people say shepherd's pie, cottage pie. I mean, what's the difference between, you know, a lot of people think shepherd's pie is the Irish version. I'll take this for you.
Sure. So cottage pie is made with beef, shepherd's pie is made with lamb, and that's basically the difference. If you are out somewhere and you see shepherd's pie and it's made with beef, then it's not really shepherd's pie.
Aha, so we can do the correction.
It's not authentic.
It's cottage pie.
Right.
That's awesome.
So what we're going to do with this beef, the lamb rather, sorry, we're going to cook this down a lot longer than you would think. So the lamb is going to release all these juices and fat, and you want the juices to evaporate, and then you want the fat to caramelize the meat, which is what that will do. So that you put it on like a medium-high heat, maybe 20 to 30 minutes.
So a lot more. Now, what if you want to cook with, what if you're at home, and I'm always doing lower fat versions?
Sure.
I mean, could I use my ground turkey? Would it just ruin it?
Definitely. You can do a mix, which would also make it a little more healthy. If you didn't want to use lamb, you can make cottage pie. It's basically the same procedure here.
And when I serve lamb at home, I often don't tell. Some people hear lamb, and especially in America, people don't want to eat lamb.
Oh, for sure.
But it's actually lower fat than beef, right?
Yeah, it's delicious. I mean, it's an awesome meat. Sometimes people can be put off by the flavor of it, but I think it's great, and it works out really well for this kind of dish. Especially, you know, it's cold outside. You want a little bit of comfort food, and this is the perfect thing for it.
Yeah, this is the king of all comfort foods.
Exactly.
So while this is browning your 20-25 minutes, what other ingredients are we looking at?
In the meantime, normally you would do this in one pot, and you'd cook this, take it out, and then with the fat that's in here, you're going to render your vegetables.
Okay, so you don't drain off the fat even after you. That's something I were taught in low-fat cooking.
Definitely,
you leave the fat in there.
Well, you take off the excess, and then whatever's left, you need a little bit to cook and it gives a good flavor. So that's what you want in here. So over here, we're going to do our vegetables. So I'll put a little bit of oil in the pan.
All right. And this is olive oil or any kind of oil
you can use olive oil. Olive oil has sort of a low smoking point, so really vegetable oil, something with a higher smoking point that you can sear with. So here we have, so we're just going to finely chop some carrots.
Okay.
So you figure about 4 pounds of meat, 4 to 5 pounds of meat, and it's going to render down a little bit, and it's going to yield a little bit less. About one large carrot, 1 large onion. So you're going to cut that all up and put that in. And then you'll start with the carrots. So
you want me to help you pour?
Sure, go ahead. Throw that right in there.
What is this, like a couple cups, you think?
That's about a cup. So like one whole carrot.
Oh, I like the sizzle.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we have the onion. I'm just going to check out this beef.
So we've got the onion. Just pour that in, stir it up.
So it's 1 onion, and then check on that.
Let me stir it?
Sure. I don't usually have an assistant when I'm cooking.
Okay, I'll be
nice. Yeah.
This is my Chef Ed internship. Yeah. So you saute these up. And that's interesting. I didn't know that about olive oil, so that's interesting that you use like a canola oil or a vegetable oil.
Something that has a little bit of a higher smoking point is always good. And it's kind of a neutral oil. Olive oil has a flavor
Okay.
to it, which is nice in a lot of things, but in this, I think just like a regular vegetable oil would be nice. So we're going to cook the vegetables down, and then at the point in which the lamb is finished,
Okay.
it'll be nice and brown. I'm just going to add this to the pan.
All right.
So ideally, you'd let this go for a while, but for today, we'll just put it all together so you can see what it looks like.
Okay. So we're going to mix that up. And this you would have actually browned. I mean, we're cheating it a little because
A little bit.
We're on television,
Right.
but this you would have let it brown just a little, like 10 minutes more or something
Sure.
like
So
that.
you wanted to see it's going to turn like a golden brown. It's going to start to caramelize around the edges, and that's where the real flavor is going to develop, because it's pretty simple ingredients. There's not that much, but the procedure is where you can really develop some good flavors.
But in other words, you're doing this and you're cooking it so well, but then it goes in the oven, no?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of like then it's going to stew in the oven. So I'm just going to put one or two cloves of garlic in there,
Okay.
and you want that to cook down as well.
And you like the, because sometimes I cheat and I get the bottled, in the bottle and it's already ground or whatever. You get the fresh cloves. You think that's the way to go?
Well, I'm a cook, so I usually don't cheat, but you can use jarred garlic just fine. It'll
All
look
right.
just the same.
If you're in a pinch,
If you're in a pinch and you
if you're
have
in a pinch. Hey, let's get to the wine and whether we could cook it with wine or beer. On the other side of the break, more with Chef Ed, some good comfort food when the Dawn Show continues right after this. I'm going to keep stirring